Let's talk about starting a rental business. I actually got a request to do this video in the comments section. And with that being said, if anybody has any requests for videos, feel free to throw it down in the comments section. I do know I've been slacking on my comments just a little bit because I didn't know that, apparently once you get a certain number of subscribers, YouTube stops emailing you every time you get a comment. So most of my day today is going to be spent going through comments because there's a ton of them that I have not replied to. So I will be doing that. But anyways, in the meantime, I've really been slacking on the videos, mostly because there's been a lot of stuff going on in the entertainment world. You'll notice different background in my videos now, and that's because this is my home office. I actually got rid of my shop for the time being, so might make a video on that, little update on the whole business situation. But anyways, let's get on with it. I've been doing pro audio rentals for, well, geez, as long as I had my shop, longer than I had my shop. I think maybe I've been trying to do it for about 8 years or so. Just gonna ballpark there. And I never really tried to do it as a main business. It was a supplement to my DJ and production business. One day I was looking at all my gear and it was just sitting there, and I thought to myself, I have more gear than events that I can do with the amount of people I have. So I thought, I don't want to sell it, so why not try to rent it out when I'm not using it? So that's how I got started. And I like the way that I'm doing it now, and it's been kind of an evolution. And I'm just going to kind of go through that evolution to get you where I'm at today. I started out on the website with just kind of a, hey, we rent gear page, give me a call, which is kind of what everybody in town here does. My biggest competition is probably HB Sound and Light, and everybody just kind of knows to call them for gear. And on their site, they used to have like a PDF that had literally just a big catalog of this is everything we have. They updated their website recently, and they basically just put, give us a call if you want to rent something. And a lot of people do that. And I started out that same way. Give me a call if you want to rent something. But people don't like that. Would you call the grocery store and be like, hey, what do you got? No, people don't like that. They want to see the product selection. So eventually I started using like an e-commerce kind of drop-in plug-in. Equid is what it's called. EQWID, I think. I wouldn't recommend it, but Equid. That is not right. ECWID. That's it. ECWID.com. It's kind of an easy way to just make an e-commerce website. I haven't used that in years, so I don't know if I would recommend it right now, but there was a free plan, and they are like a hosted solution where you can put your products on Equid and drop them onto the website. And when I kind of didn't really have much for inventory on there, I was using that. But the downside of using a straight up shopping cart is that there's no inventory control. There's no like calendar for rental dates or anything. So not the best solution. So I got rid of that pretty much right away. I used it for a while, but I got rid of it pretty much right away. And I did switch over to a company called Checkfront. Because as I was starting to rent more, I knew I actually had to spend some money on rental software. And I wanted it to be web-based. I didn't just want a rental software that I had on my laptop to control rentals and inventory management and stuff. I wanted something web-based where somebody could go online, and if somebody wanted to rent a projector, just go online. What do you got for projectors? Go to the projector category and just rent it. And that's kind of what Checkfront allowed me to do. And I really have no issues with Checkfront. If you are looking for, and I'll probably put links to all these down in the description just so you can check them out and get an idea of what they do. But if you're looking for an easy solution for rental management, Checkfront is good. So I think it was like $50 a month for what I was doing. at that point in time. It looks like the pricing's a little differently. $42, $84, $169 a month. Realistically for me though, $42 a month gets you 1,200 bookings per year. So if you start doing a lot of bookings, that's when they bump up the price on you. And CheckFront's kind of a generic rental software. You can rent out items, or you can rent out, like if you've got a bed and breakfast, you can use it to manage your bed and breakfast and have people, reserve online. But I really like the online inventory management and reservation system, so that's why I like CheckFront. But here's the downside about CheckFront. Everything is hosted on their servers. So you make like one rental page on your website, and you just drop a line of code in there, and that's how people search for stuff. Now the plus side about doing this, so there's a downside and a plus side. So the plus side of doing this is I'm a big fan of microsites. So like, at one point in time I had FargoStageRental.com, and that was all about renting stages, but then I had Rent Other Stuff page, and I'd just throw that CheckFront drop in on that, and anybody could rent anything off that website. Pirate Radio Productions, the website for that had the drop in. I had FargoSpeakerRental.com that had the same drop in. FargoLightingRental.com had the same drop in. And being as you're taking that code base and just dropping it into a website, you could drop that same code base into 100 different microsites that specifically target different things to try to get, search engine optimization, channeling people to those websites. So that's the plus side of using CheckFront and the drop-in system. The downside is since it's just pulling data from CheckFront servers, you don't actually have pages on your website. So if you want to make pages for each product, you actually have to manually create a new HTML page and do a product item drop-in on that page. And that's a little tedious if you ask me. So I was just using their generic catalog drop-in, not product specific drop-in. But I wanted to go beyond that and better optimize my Pirate Radio Productions website. That's the primary website, and I wanted better search engine optimization. So I actually, and this is what I'm still currently using, my website's WordPress based. And with WordPress, there is a plugin called WooCommerce, which is if you want to sell stuff. But WooCommerce also sells, so you get WooCommerce for free. That's a free plugin. But you can buy a plugin called Bookings, a WooCommerce Bookings plugin. And then I do have a few other things because WooCommerce nickels and dimes you. You get basic e-commerce functionality, but then if you want something as simple as printing out an invoice, I don't have one on my printer, but something as simple as printing out an invoice, that's a plugin that you got to pay annually for. So they do kind of nickel and dime you there, but I think it's well worth the money, and it winds up being cheaper, I think, than CheckFront. But same functionality, and WooCommerce creates pages for each of your products, and each of those products are hosted on your website. So, if you've got a 5-page website and all of a sudden you throw WooCommerce on there and you put 300 products on your website, well, you got 300 new pages that Google's searching with keywords and stuff. Long story short with all of this is when I switched from CheckFront to WooCommerce, my bookings went up about 300%. And I did no new advertising, nothing. The only thing that changed was I went from using a hosted rental software to bringing the rental software onto my server so that each item had its own pages. So that's the evolution of the website over time. And this is, a 8-year span of just trying to slowly make it better. And I'll put a link to my website if you want to check out. It's pirateradio.productions is my business website. It probably needs to be updated. I will be honest, the amount of rental items that I have on the website are down drastically, and that's just because with COVID going on and my decision to get rid of my office, I have been selling gear like a madman. I've probably got half the amount of equipment that I used to have, but I'm a big person for if you ain't using it, it's losing value and depreciating. So basically, I got rid of the office, started selling non-core assets. I kept everything that I generally need to make money, and I'm just running it out of my home for now, home-based business, which does make rentals a little awkward. October was actually almost a month that was kind of back to normal for rentals. It's a little weird having everybody meet me at my garage, but I think it's been working okay, and obviously I'm saving a lot of money not having a shop. And people didn't seem to mind so much, so for the time being, it is what it is. But that is so I actually do zero advertising for my rental business. It is a add-on to, my existing business. My goal with rentals was to essentially just pay all my shop expenses. And it eventually did that, and then some. Not to the point where you could make a full business out of renting out equipment, but I was making pretty decent money out of it pre-COVID. Now, I made some money in October. Other than that, I didn't really make any money. But I still rent a few things out here and there. Hopefully next year things get back to normal and I can get the rental business back up and going. But here's what I'm going to warn you on. Well, I'll give you what I would do as a strategy starting now. Like if I was starting from scratch, knowing what I know now, well, let's just go over that first. The first thing I would do, because my top rentals are basically do-it-yourself DJ packages. Well, that is my top rental. And then do-it-yourself karaoke is okay. But my do-it-yourself DJ package probably makes up like 75% of my rentals. And I think I have 4 of those systems that I can just send out that are what you see on the website. And then if people book more than that, then I'll just piece together additional systems for them. But I do it really cheap, like $99. And not that I'm trying to eat away at my DJ business, but if somebody just wants a backyard party, they're having a barbecue, they want some music, maybe they want karaoke, nobody's going to pay me $400 or $500 to go and DJ that backyard party. So I'm not eating into it. I'm creating an additional revenue stream for those types of events that are so small they don't need a DJ. And I know other DJ companies might argue with that, but that's the way I see it. I don't think I am siphoning any, well, I could have booked that as a DJ, because I don't think I would have. But I would start with a couple of prepackaged options, because consumers like simplicity. They want to know that, man, for $99, I can get everything I need, just plug my phone in and Spotify music, and I've got, basically I do a Yamaha Stage Pass 600 BT, Chave gig bar, 2 speaker stands, 1 wired mic with a 10-foot cable, and an aux cord. You supply your own music. I do have add-ons, and this is where you really start to make the money. So the base price is cheap. Everything you need for a small backyard party, $99. But there's add-ons. You want a wireless mic? It's an extra $20. You want a subwoofer? That's an extra $50. And I do like the little 12-inch Yamaha DXS 12 Mark II. You want more lighting, extra gig bar, another $25. I don't remember what all I've got on there, but if you go to my website and check out the DIY DJ page, you'll see it. But the add-ons is where you really start to, you turn that $99 rental into a $200 rental pretty easy. And if somebody is renting it for like a backyard wedding or something, they tend to do the add-ons. So sometimes when they call you, you got to do a little bit of upselling, like, people like a wireless mic for speeches. If you're going to have over 100 people, a subwoofer does come in handy to help fill out the sound. But a lot of times people will just go to the website and book. So that's how I would start out. And then, of course, I would have a couple prepackaged options, because that really helps with the search engine optimization. And then, obviously, anything you actually own already, throw that in there, throw that on the website. I wouldn't go out and just willy-nilly start buying stuff in the hopes of renting it out, though. I would wait until people call you and ask if you have something, and then, it's up to you whether you're willing to buy it or not. But I would not just go out and buy a bunch of stuff and then hope to rent it out. And I would not buy everything that somebody calls for. Case in point, I bought, this was actually one of my buddies at the time. He had rented it, like lighting and a bunch of different things for events from me. But he wanted he wanted a chaser because he was using par cans at the time, but he didn't have a chaser. And I had bought an Elation Cyber Pack. I think it's like a $300 like DMX dimmer chaser combo thing. I rented it to him one time for $15. And then he was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna get some LED light bars. I never rented that out again, and it sat on my shelf for 4 years maybe. And then I finally just sold it on Reverb, and I think I sold it for like $70. I mean, just complete waste of money. So you really got to be careful in what you're willing to buy too. If somebody wanted 15-inch speakers, and I usually only keep 12-inch speakers in inventory, but somebody wanted 15, so I bought one set of 15s to have in my rental inventory. You do have to expand and make your rental customers happy that way, but you don't want to go too crazy and just, buy everything that somebody wants to rent, especially if they're oddball, unique items that you're not going to use in your business. So that's kind of how I would get it started. With your own inventory, a couple prepackaged options. I would definitely go with WooCommerce with the booking plugin, although I don't know what you use for a website right now. One thing I will warn you as well is, like, if you own a production company or a DJ company, something specific where your website is 100% catered to that service, once you throw on rental stuff and you create like 100 new pages that have everything to do about rentals, the prominence of like I'm a wedding DJ keywords really start to go down, because most of your pages are not about I'm a wedding DJ or I'm a sound tech. So I wanted to create one website that was a hub for everything I do. So that's why it is on my main website. But if I was worried about that, like say I was just making bank as a wedding DJ and my website was ranking really good for wedding DJ, I would not just triple the size of the website and put a bunch of rental stuff on it. I'd probably just start a new website that is specific to renting gear. And that just goes into SEO stuff. I'm not an SEO mastermind, but you can screw yourself over pretty fast by downgrading keyword prominence, especially if you're doing really solid on it before, swapping your website. But WooCommerce with the booking plugin, definitely recommended. I wouldn't do a whole lot of advertising for it because rentals are not huge on the profit margin. So what I would do is, just share like, hey, I've got a do-it-yourself DJ package, share it in like wedding groups and stuff. Eventually Google will index and start finding it. And if there's not a whole lot of people in your area, you're naturally going to be more prominent. It is something that does take a little bit of time, but I wouldn't spend a whole lot of money on marketing. Otherwise, I feel like you're going to go in the hole really fast starting out a rental business. But making posts wherever you can, wedding groups, musician groups, just on Facebook, trying to get people to share stuff. You could maybe do a little do-it-yourself DJ ad. I don't know if I would. I mean, I've tried marketing it a few times and I wind up spending a lot of money on marketing with no real results. I still just get the same rentals that I always would have gotten. But I don't think almost everybody that I know of business-wise that does rentals, it's not their main business. They're either a production company, DJ company, and they happen to do rentals. So don't think you're going to make a rental business and make it your full-time income. Not going to say it won't happen, but I know in Fargo, North Dakota, you sure ain't going to make it happen. I don't even know if you'd be able to make it happen in Minneapolis. Maybe, but most people, the rental houses down there do production work. They sell stuff, they fix stuff. You know, it's more of an add-on, kind of a value add to your business. But the other plus side about doing WooCommerce is I also have a sales channel on my website too. So things that I do want to get rid of, not only do I sell it on eBay or Reverb, I'll also just throw it into the e-commerce side and sell from there. Not that I sell a whole lot of stuff because I really haven't built out the e-commerce part of my website, but my Pioneer XDJ-RX, I did sell that to a guy in Alaska. Really expensive shipping to get it up there. I wish I would have charged more, but I did not have seller fees from eBay or Reverb, so I feel like, I lost a little on the shipping, but that's fine. That's the other plus side about doing WooCommerce. And you know, I don't really know what else to say besides that. I am not a rental company mastermind. I just know what I've done and what I feel like works for me. And I remember having goals of, I hope I get up to $600 a month in rentals, and then I hit that. And then I remember being like, oh man, I got a couple months where I hit $1,000 this year. And then I remember hitting months where, you know, 1,000 became the norm. And then I was starting to hit 2,000 on the busy months. And this year, you know, prior to COVID happening, I was hoping to have like $1,500 a month be like my base for rentals and be bumping up to like $3,000 a month on the busy months. Well, needless to say, that did not happen. But hopefully next year will be better. If you have any questions about my rental strategy, you know, throw it down in the comments section. I know I didn't get super specific. I really hammered on the website, and the big thing for me is the website, because the way that I try to outdo the other rental companies in town is by having a website where somebody can just go on, click, book it, reserve it, says if it's available, pay for it, done. Where the other guys will make you call and you have to reserve it online. Oh, I should also say this. So some things that I do not do, mostly because this is a small market. I know a lot of the people I rent to, so I don't take a copy of a credit card. You really should. You should also take a copy of their driver's license. I don't do that. Well, sometimes I do if I don't know them and they maybe have an out-of-state ID, but you definitely should be doing that. Make them sign a rental agreement that says they have to pay for any damages, or pay for overtime. I wouldn't necessarily do rentals. So all my rentals are technically a one-day rental, but I'm pretty lenient. Like if somebody needs it on a Saturday, I'll let them pick it up Thursday, Friday, bring it back Sunday, Monday. I only charge them for the one day. And I know EMI in Minneapolis, I think they just consider all their rentals like a 4-day block. And I don't necessarily do that because I like to have flexibility. Like, well, you get it for this day. People can pick it up and return it the same day or not. I leave that flexibility kind of open per customer. So it seems like I'm doing something extra for them. But what else was I going to say? I feel like I had a few more things I was going to say, but you know, try to be more technologically advanced than your competitors. That's the big thing. And being able to reserve stuff online. I'm a one-man band here. I do everything, so I'm not necessarily always just sitting in the office waiting to take a sales phone call. That's why I like the e-commerce edge. Oh, and I was going to recommend this one. I actually went to MobileBeat about 4 years ago, and so this guy, I don't know if I'd necessarily recommend this book, but I mean, it's a fine book if you're a DJ, Profit 911 for DJs. But Justin Miller, he gave an hour presentation about, at least I'm pretty sure it was this guy, because I think I got this book for free at it, about if you are like a sole operator of your business. He really talked about automation and making things happen, setting things in motion so things happen without you having to be physically involved with everything that happens. And that was a big reason why I switched over to like WooCommerce and Booking or Checkfront to have the online bookings so that I would not always have to be there to answer the phone. I mean, I could still answer the phone and take questions, you know, because I got my cell phone on me all the time. But automation is key. in minimizing how much work you have to put into everything. And that's why the online bookings and website is, I can't stress that enough. That is probably the best part about my rental business, because some days I just wake up and I've got a couple of emails where people have rented stuff and they paid for it, and 3 days later I'll have money in my account and it's on the schedule and ready to go. Website's key. That's why I keep talking about the website. That is key. Inventory, work with what you got, do some sort of do-it-yourself DJ package. Don't buy too much random shit. If you have any questions, though, throw it down in the comments section. I'll be checking my comments more often. Until next time, have a good day. I know what you're thinking. Could this video get any longer? Well, yes, it can, and I'm back for more. You know, I watch my videos after I record them, and I'm not a big one for editing. I chop the front and the back. I don't cut out any of my gibberish in the middle, so you get stuck with all of it. A couple things I forgot to bring up: pricing. So pricing your rentals, I standard do 5% of MAP. So, you know, if I've got a $1,000 speaker, $50 to rent it. So if you're doing speakers, sometimes it's nice to have more expensive speakers, but it's also nice to have a cheaper option like the Electro Voice ZLX12P. You know, those are $400 a piece, so you can rent them for $20 a speaker. You're probably going to rent that out more than you will a $1,000 speaker, because a lot of people are not going to want to spend $50 per speaker. So anyways, 5% is my target, but as I rent things out, if I see things are having issues or I'm having more cost involved with rentals, like I used to rent out this, I mean, they're cheap, like maybe $120, but it's like you get 2 tripods with T-bars, and then you get like this truss that comes across and things like that. There is just so many pieces that it would always come back with missing bolts, and you can buy like a bolt pack for it where you get all sorts of different parts. But I eventually made that like 15% of new, just because it felt like almost every third rental I'd be replacing bolts or different parts on it. You know, if you rent out Chauvet gig bars, every 10th customer is going to lose a remote. I don't charge people for that, but I do think I'm going to raise my rental price by $5. Just so, you know, in the end, I'll probably make about $50. A replacement remote will cost me $20, so I'll profit a little bit for my time and energy. But I start out everything at a base price of 5%, and depending upon common issues with renting out that piece of equipment, I'm not a big one for going back and saying, yo, you got to pay for this. I mean, I've made a few people do that when they've made big mistakes, but if it's something small, I eventually just increase the price a little bit and build that in as a cost of doing business and spread out that cost amongst other customers. A lot of people will say 10% is the price to go to, but, you know, once again, it's tough to just go a flat 10% on everything, because if you're renting out a $1,000 speaker, it's $100 a speaker. Who's going to pay $200 for 2 speakers when you could just hire some random DJ off of Craigslist for $400, you know? So you got to realize people are coming to you for rentals. They've got to be somewhat cheap. I do 5%. Also, there's no delivery included with that rental. I do offer delivery, setup, tear down as, you know, an extra charge. Like if somebody wants me to go out and set up a do-it-yourself DJ package, I'll normally do it for $75. If I have nothing going on, that's the big thing. I won't just schedule, sure, I'll do setup and tear down. And so a lot of times I make it to where it has to be somewhat flexible. But anyways, I forgot to touch on pricing. Thought I'd throw that in there. I'm going to shut up before this becomes a half-hour video. Till next time, have a good day.